Okay, Ryan, this one is yours, and today happens to be a new moon, so it kind of worked out that it's late, I think. All right, so they've already been shuffled. Sorry, my gel pens are everywhere. All right. So what covers you? We have a victory, and I think I've gone over this before, but I'm not going to really explain like all the little tiny details, but basically, this is having reached a milestone on a journey that you're currently on. You still have a little ways to go before you're at the goal. So, this isn't the final victory, this isn't complete accomplishment, but this is when you're about halfway there and you're starting to see really promising signs that this is going to work. And you have accomplished a part of the whole. And so it's definitely great to allow yourself to celebrate and enjoy that victory, as long as you realize that the same amount of effort that got you there, you will need to continue to invest to get the rest of the way. So it's not the time to get complacent, because while it's a good indication, good feedback that you're making good moves, but that's not to stop. So, and the spring is the fire suit. So this has to do with something that you're working on that's very active, something that you're either very motivated about, or it could be something physical or creative. The best way to imagine it, like the feeling I could describe that whatever this is that gives you that, like a passion, like it sets you on fire inside. So most likely it's not work, or it could be a relationship, but it would be more a passionate relationship, not a mellow, passive type of one. So anything that's in your life that you're pursuing that does make you feel that way, this whole reading centers upon the fact that, you've reached a goal in that. What crosses you? So something that affects this, for better or for worse, you might be tending to look on the dark side of things, the pessimistic side. You might be looking at a recent setback or a failure as if it defines your entire experience, and not realizing that you really have a lot more going for you than what went wrong. But if you dwell on what went wrong, then that's what will grow, because wherever we put our energy is what will intensify. So just make sure you look around, that you take into account and take stock of every aspect, that you're being fair, that you are having I can't think of the word, but that you are taking in all factors and not just looking at the things that you want to focus on and pretending that that's everything. So how it ties into this is, you might not have even realized that this was a victory. Along with this victory, you might have had a setback, or it might not have happened the way that you planned for it to, or that you wanted it to. Maybe you did plan to be entirely complete and finished by now. And so rather than be excited that you accomplished something, you might be feeling like a failure because you didn't do the whole thing. You're not all the way there. And so it's really all about perspective. Actually, all tarot cards, no cards are good, no cards are bad. Everything, all the tarot cards, just like everything in life, it just depends on your perspective. As long as you realize that, you could go ahead and turn your focus to the things that have gone right. Because I guarantee, focusing on what went wrong isn't going to get you anywhere that you want to go. And you should be celebrating this victory. So just keep that in mind. Where this has arisen from, so what is beneath you, this would be at the foundation of your issue. So this is definitely a lot of energy, optimism, and motivation. It's that sun energy. It's like, well, especially being in the summertime, I don't know if you're like me, but a lot of times when it's sunny, I just feel like on top of the world, and I'm singing in the car, and just so many thoughts, and I'm so happy. So this right here, that feeling of, yes, I can do this. It's not like a cocky confidence. It's just I believe in myself, and and this is great. So all this positivity had led you to start this endeavor, whatever it was, and had also gotten you to the point where you were able to achieve this success. So that all was born out of just this being stricken by this desire to just go chase what makes you happy. And that's why it's a masculine energy, because masculine energy is active. It's going out to get it, whereas feminine energy is passive. So it's more allowing it to come to you. So this is very active, going out to initiate something and make it happen, and you sure did. in your recent past as it pertains to this situation, you were able to see things from a different perspective. You're looking at the same thing, just like I was just talking about with perspective. You're looking at the same thing, but your view on it has changed. So you notice he's hanging upside down. He's looking at the same site, right? But if you look upside down, it looks completely different, doesn't it? So he's able to see it from another angle. However, it's just a different angle of the same thing, and having that understanding where two people about the situation can both be right, even if they have completely different opinions, that helps you develop a little bit more compassion and understanding. You can realize that while somebody who sees it differently than you do, while their perspective is valid, that doesn't mean yours isn't. And having that knowledge and understanding will definitely help you get along with others in this situation that might not see it the same way you do, and to help you also look at things from other perspectives so you can consider that when you make decisions. So yeah, something may possibly occurred where you were in a position where you had judged somebody, and then you experienced that and you were able to see it from the inside and realize, so that's definitely a good thing. In your near future, we'll go back to that. In your near future, it does look like you're starting to build on a foundation of stability. So this would be something, autumn is earth, material things like family and home, your job. And this would say, as it pertains to this situation, you're going to have somebody lend a hand. There will be somebody to help you to work toward your goal of creating stability and meeting your material needs. So this could be, say, like a coworker. That would be a good option, a possibility. And the interesting thing is, though, because this goal is not an autumn goal, so this would say that it could possibly, since this could turn into a way, you might get somebody that helps you turn your passion into a way, how can I say this? Something that you can profit from, something that isn't just for fun, but that will benefit you, something to make it work for you, something that will allow you to put your energy into what gives you joy or excitement, and also be able to use that to generate, I don't want to say income, but a reward, not even that, but to get something in return that will help you, I guess. Sorry, I'm not always the best with the words. Anyway, but I'll explain that a little bit more in a moment because it's kind of interesting. Anyways, so you, in this situation, this is a really good thing. So you're on a team, and this team, whether it's a group of friends or a family, you're part of this group where you are all mutually uplifting to each other. You are helping each other to stay positive and to stay motivated like this when you start to lose focus or to lose happiness or hope. So you're just kind of all there to help each other. These are also, there's people that are in this group with you that are helping you celebrate this success, and they're happy for you and they're excited and they're like, yes, you're awesome, and that definitely helps. And so yeah, that's where you are right now in your environment. And this would be something that's not you, but something that is connected to you in a way that would be able to influence this situation. So this would be most likely a younger woman, not necessarily in age, but she would present as somebody who is a little more emotionally immature. That's not necessarily all a bad thing. Whenever I say immature, I worry that people will think that it's inferior to mature, and it's not. It's just a different place on the journey. The benefits of the immaturity is that she's very idealistic, and she believes things about people. She is constantly seeing the best, even when they've continually proved her wrong, and she continues to give people chances, and she continues to believe that everybody's good inside, and kind of rose-colored glasses, the way that she looks at things. The downside, she's not that realistic. She doesn't have that much experience, and so her ideas aren't rooted in anything real. It's just her fanciful ideas about how the world should work, and unfortunately, a lot of times when we're in this state, we are in for a rude awakening. Even if nobody intentionally hurts us, even if everyone tries to be very careful to preserve our innocence, it's bound to happen because life isn't really that way. And we learn that by experience. But when we trade in this idealism, we do gain some wisdom, and that does help us to make better decisions in the future. But this is a very youthful, joyful person who might possibly have her head kind of stuck in the clouds and might not be seeing things clearly. And for whatever reason, that person is affecting this situation. I wouldn't necessarily say in a bad way, but I mean, to let you know, because the summer is like the love thing, so she could be distracting you from your goals by selling you some dream of happily ever after. Not that she doesn't believe that. She's not intentionally manipulating you or lying to you. Just the caveat there is don't sacrifice what you've been working so hard on for the promise or the word of somebody who isn't really that well connected to what the reality of the situation is. So I only say that because it says, that could be affecting this situation, and I see your situation is very much about motivation and working toward a goal. So that is something that I can see that might pull you away. Your hopes or fears as it comes to this situation. Well, this is most likely a fear because I can spin it either way. We'll start it as a fear. This is just when, again, so this is the same journey, and it's actually the very next step in that journey. We've achieved that success, and this is really starting to take off. People are starting to take you seriously, to notice what you're doing, and to actually realize that it's a real thing. And that you are getting there further maybe than other people give you credit for. And rather than celebrate and be happy for you, although there are people that do, but there actually may be people who won't agree with you and who will attack your decisions and you'll have to defend yourself. But since this is a worry, that might not be a real thing. You may be worrying that you'll have to defend your choices and to justify what you're doing, and that you'll be attacked from all angles, and it's going to be exhausting, and you're just going to have to keep arguing back and all this stuff. But it also could be a hope. It could be a hope that you won't back down when challenged by people that don't agree with you or see things your way. It could be a hope that you'll continue to stand firm, regardless of who tries to talk you out of it. And it could be a bit of both, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's the challenge at that part of the journey where we have to decide, will we remain committed to this path despite anybody who doesn't agree with it? When they try to throw up roadblocks, are we going to go around them, or are we going to say, oh, well, never mind? That's completely up to you. Your possible outcome, if you continue on your current path, that's just if you keep making these type of choices. So if this is something that sounds like an outcome you wouldn't want, as I've said before, just be conscious of your decisions and choose wisely what decisions you're making, because those are what will create your outcome. So, possible outcome, very next step, the very possible outcome, if you continue on your current path, is that you will get past this, and then you'll get to the next phase of your mission, which does include a lot of activity. So prepare to be extremely busy. This isn't necessarily like busy, like burdened with duties. This is just a lot's coming at you. It could be communication, a lot of people trying to get a hold of you, like, okay, this thing is taking off and you're continuing on, and then you're going to get to a point where you're maybe getting like emails or phone calls, texts about it. Maybe it gets popular, lots of orders to fill. I don't know what it is. So, depending, you would know. So whatever fits for that. But basically that just means the momentum starts going and the speed starts picking up, and now you're fielding from different directions, different tasks and different questions. Your objective there is to in order to remain clear-headed, try to prioritize, try to sort everything that's coming in, that's flying at you. Otherwise, it's going to get very overwhelming and it's easy to get lost. So just, she's got all these, just grab the ones that seem the most important first. And worry about the rest of it later. Don't get overwhelmed and think, I have to grab all of these at once, because you're not going to be able to do it, nor will you be able to do any of them well. So I know it can seem like your attention has to be everywhere at once, but do one thing at a time, and you'll be able to get through that. And also knowing that this is a possible outcome can help prepare you for the onslaught, so to speak. I'm going to draw another card for you just as a advice card. It's not part of the traditional spread, but I typically do this just because I'm curious to. So, your advice, do not let emotions play into your decisions. Make sure that you make logical decisions and that you use the facts and what actually, based on pros and cons or other facts, research, data, based on that, what is the best choice for you. Don't let your judgment get clouded by infatuation or emotions that kind of short circuit the system, so to speak, and override your logical mind. Draw from, this is saying that you are experienced in this area, this thing that you are doing. You have a lot of experience, you have a lot of wisdom, you have the data and the facts. So what you would need to do is be the king of winter in this situation. And that is by, he's not unfeeling, and he does have a heart just as much as any of us do. He doesn't have like less percentage of caring, but what he can do, and I know this because I am a queen of winter, what he can do is compartmentalize. So yes, there's the emotions, they're in this category. And then there's the job to be done or the mission at hand, and that's in a different category altogether. The information that's used to run that section has nothing to do with the other. So while you may think of people like that as, oh, how can they be so heartless? How could they not think about this or that emotional thing when making whatever decision? Know that they realize that that's got nothing to do with it, and that shouldn't be a factor. So since this is your advice card, this is giving you the advice to keep your emotional and your responsible in separate sections, because decisions about your responsibilities should not be influenced by feelings that you get about unrelated topics, I guess. I'm rambling now, but anyways, hopefully that made some sense to you. Even if it didn't, I hope you have a great new moon, and I will talk to you whenever.